Who is there? People waiting?
I can't see anyone yet.
It's just you. It's just us alone with our thoughts.
Just us talking to each other. So
about thought.
Good. I'll do the. Oh, we got 6 on.
Oh, we got people.
There we go. Hello, everyone. I'll do that countdown thing because that looked really cool last week.
It looked professional.
Yeah. I was going to edit the video, but I didn't end up doing it.
Just cut me out.
Well, cut out this bit at the start, and we've already lost one person. Okay, all right. Countdown time.
Goodbye. That's good music.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Backseat Drivers Australian Grand Prix review. So we had some racing over the weekend that I was lucky enough to get to see some of it live. That was very exciting because it's been a long time between drinks for seeing live racing. So have you ever actually been to the Grand Prix, Matt?
No, I've been to the track many times. I've never.
Yeah.
I've had people call me from pit crew. That's the closest I've got to.
Well, that's a bit disappointing.
I've been to Singapore as they were packing it up and Monaco as they were packing it up. I've just missed it each time.
Yeah. I'd have to admit, I was spewing. I really didn't plan when I went to Italy very well because we flew into Italy like the Monday of the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I think we were there the week after.
I planned it a little bit better, I should have flown in, maybe even like the previous, what would have been Wednesday or whatever, and tried to get there for the Thursday. But I did, while I was there, I did go to Monza and did a tour and that, which was, even though there's some Porsches running around that day, but that was amazing to actually just go to Monza and see it, even though, nothing was happening there. I can only imagine what it's like going there because Albert Park going there when there's no race is pretty odd. Well, it's just a normal kind of park, really. Yeah. Whereas, like Monza's actually it's like going to Bathurst.
Yeah, Monaco was pretty good too. We went to the hairpin, and they had they have like a little plaque there. I think I took a photo or 3. And
as you do when you're a tourist.
Yeah, and then I think we went up to the casino, and there's like 8 or 9 cars worth more than my life, and I think each one was a house deposit, pretty much.
That's like going to a casino in Melbourne these days, anyway.
I haven't been to the casino there for ages.
What did we went there for something or other. It was before all of the lockdowns and that, and yeah, there was
Dave, that was 100 years ago. No one remembers that.
Well, I do, because that was the last time I nearly went to see cars live. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
It was good to have them back, though.
Car racing. It was amazing. And I couldn't believe, they were saying, I think it was 112,000 or something on the Friday, and then 124 or something on Saturday. I tell you what.
It looked big.
But the difference between Friday and Saturday, there was more than 12,000 people difference. It was nuts. Like Friday, I went and got lunch, and I was the second person in the queue for the food van. I actually went to the same food van on Saturday, and we would have been like 30 deep in the queue.
And I heard you had to mortgage your house to get food at the Grand Prix.
It's funny. People were complaining about that, but we got Great. It was $31 for burger, chips, and drink. But if
That's
you
MCG prices, pretty much.
yeah, well, when you think like it was actually I put an Instagram post up. The chicken burger was amazing. So that's why I went back the second day. Like it was really good. And it was a good amount of chips and that. It was a 600 ml drink that you got with it. So it was actually a really good feed. Like if you went to a pub, you'd easily spend $22, $23 on that without a drink. Yeah, and it wouldn't have been the same kind of quality. So, yeah, it's you look at it and you're like, oh, $25 for a burger and chips, like that's ridiculous. But when you actually think about it, like it wasn't that bad. I mean, I'm sure if you were going and grabbing, I didn't look at what a Heineken was worth, which seemed to be the only beer that you could get there. Which
what a surprise!
Yeah, but any fans of Heineken there? I think it was here last week we were having the discussion about beer, wasn't it? I can't remember. And I got into corporate on Friday.
How'd you wrangle that?
We just walked through the door.
There's the secret, everybody.
It's funny that I knew some people who were there that were actually directly above the Matt Stone Racing pit where I was. And they basically said, no one's at the door checking anything at the moment. So, I just walked straight in with one of them. And then, because they only had like the wristband, so I just stood there with my arms crossed, hiding my wrist the whole time.
Genius.
Yeah. And, they went and got, like I didn't go up to the bar or anything, but yeah. Got myself in corporate for a couple of hours and then, went back down to the pits and hang out there.
Good work. Good work. Yeah. I assume security is not as strong on Friday, Saturday than it would be Sunday.
From past experience, like there was one year we really abused the corporate thing. We probably had 15, 20 people in on about 4 passes. And yeah, the Friday got away with it. Saturday was a lot more strict, and then Sunday was like lockdown. There was no getting anyone extra in.
You're used to lockdown, Dave. Should be fine.
Yeah, but this was back in days when we didn't know about quarantining and stuff like that. So yes, Graham, I was there on Friday and Saturday. So it was very, 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 very good. So we're going to talk about some racing.
I have, as you know, Dave. I've made notes when I watched it.
Where do we start? Sebastian in his motorbike ride.
I think even further than that. Latifi, is it just me or does he look like a Bond villain? He looks between like a Bond villain and Sacha Baron Cohen. He looks like he's from Wacky Races, Dave, and he's about to throw like a banana peel in front of someone.
Whose weekend is he going to destroy this time?
Yeah. He's the villain of F1 now, isn't he?
It depends which side. I mean, I'm sure there's some Max Verstappen fans that really enjoy his work. But yeah, did you see the incident with Stroll?
I saw bits of it, and it looked a bit dicey.
The hard thing, everyone's, okay, there's a lot leading up to this. Like Stroll does get himself involved in a lot of incidents because he doesn't use his rearview mirrors.
Rearview mirrors are for soft. Don't go.
Is it where when you're playing online and the other car kind of disappears? He seems to think that you got
ghosting.
He seems to think that the other cars are ghost cars, and can just Chopsticks. We're talking about Stroll and Latifi, the billionaire Canadian children. Yeah,
Danny Bucks.
yeah, that's yeah. Papa Stroll and King Latifi. Um, where were we with that? Yeah, he does
It
a lot
looked
of like
dicey.
yeah, but he turns in like there's no one else there. But what was strange, Latifi had pulled over, let him go, and then goes around the next corner and then tries to blast past him. G'day, Jared. Um, and
Evening.
then everyone's just blaming Stroll for it, which, okay, he shouldn't have swerved across or whatever. But if I was him, I wouldn't have been expecting Latifi to come charging straight back through like that. Like it's at some point, like both of them have got to, think about it. Yeah, that's it, D-Dub. Yeah,
Yep.
amateur hour at both sides. Yeah,
Yep.
and yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. The team's not kind of communicating with them, and there's a few situations like that where teams could have, had a bit better communication. But anyway,
It
you would
gives
have
me hope, Dave.
expected.
If I become a billionaire, you and I, Dave, are going to start an F1 team. I don't even know how to drive an F1 car. I'll be fine.
We just need children to drive for us.
I know many children.
You've got one coming through.
Yep.
Mine's a bit old.
Nah, that's fine.
Thanks for letting us know, Blaine. Gaz, Alonso is one of those guys with very, very good spatial awareness. He knows what's happening. Watching his first laps, even from like early on in his career, Alonso extremely good at that kind of stuff.
Almost professional.
Yeah. As much as he defends like a lion. He's a very good he has a very good racing brain. I wonder how the mechanics feel about it.
Probably not happy.
I think the spare parts bins are getting a bit sparse as well.
That's what I was going to ask, Dave. They mentioned a lot of how many parts they have left for a lot of these crashes. How many of each part do you have? And is it repairing broken ones?
It depends on the team and where they're at and things like that. But I know Haas, when Schumacher crashed, that was partly because they didn't, if he'd had another accident in the race, they probably didn't have enough parts to send to Melbourne, and also because his head was a bit shaken up from the accident. But they were a bit low on what they had parts-wise. Whereas you'd imagine like Ferrari and Red Bull and Mercedes would, have enough to kind of cover it for the weekend. But yeah, chopsticks, that is the cost cap is now an issue as well. When they're having these like $1 million accidents, all of a sudden that comes out of your cost cap. I think there might be, you can apply if there's been X amount of damage, blah, blah, blah. Because I think after the Imola accident last year, Mercedes and Williams both applied for a bit of relief or something because that was that massive accident. So, but yeah, they're limited with the cost cap now of how many parts they can build and things like that too. Has had no spare monocoque this. Yeah, and that was where they were a bit paranoid about Schumacher racing in, which one was it? Saudi Arabia. Because if he had another accident and did any more damage, they were in a lot of trouble. Better racing with the redesigned circuit. I think it definitely was better. And the new cars would have helped a lot as well. But they could actually follow and they could pass. Unlike the last time we were in Melbourne where, I think there was like 3 overtakes for the whole race, and I think we had 3 in the first lap or something this time. So, yeah.
Did the crashes today happen in the new corners? Because who crashed early on?
No, because Sainz. That wasn't really. I thought they were changing that corner, but that looks pretty much exactly as it was previously. That one where he went off, but they were going in a lot faster because the previous corner had been straight lined. So that was very strange from Sainz. He just all weekend.
He looked like he went too fast into that corner.
Yeah, and it was a bit of, I don't know, he just, because he didn't get his lap in qualifying because the Lion had his accident. And then I think there was something with his steering wheel just before the race. They swapped over his steering wheel because it wasn't working properly. I think it might have been, I stalled it, or the car went into anti-stall because of the new steering wheel off the start. So he dropped, I think, from 9th to 12th. And then, he just wasn't, his head wasn't kind of right. And then, he had an accident. And I mean,
it looked pretty, like he went just too fast. Nothing special.
It was very rookie kind of error.
Yeah.
And, I expected a lot more, but it just shows possibly the pressure's on now because they're actually fighting for something this year. So, he can see kind of Leclerc slipping away with it already, and the pressure kind of coming on, and it's some handle it better than others. He's I fully expected him to be a very, very close, second to Leclerc all year, but it's getting away from him.
Tried some rallying.
Unfortunately, those Ferraris don't do too well rallying. And yes, I think it is Imola next in 2 weeks, I think. I'm pretty sure it's not this weekend, it's the weekend after. Tried SVG style. That was interesting as well, SVG's big lockup and tyre blow up. But that was all covered in Supercars talk this week. So
now it's F1 talk.
Yeah. Well, it's just general racing talk.
I have a question, Dave. I think it was Vettel when he crashed into the dirt. He managed to drive out. Was it Vettel who? But Sainz couldn't drive out. If you can drive out, you can drive out and keep going, right?
Yeah, but you can't get assisted out of there.
Yeah, so that's what I thought.
I think it really depends on how fast people go in and things like that.
I don't think Vettel was going as fast.
Yeah, it was a lot slower corner, I'm pretty sure, and it depends how you, like if you hit them sideways and stuff. Like in the supercars, like Anton went in at turn 1, which was a lot faster, but then he went like straight on, so he kind of drove straight over the top of it. Whereas Davison got hit in the rear at turn 3, so because he got spun out, so he went in sideways and it dug in, and it was all over and done with. No 6 hour this weekend. I haven't heard anything about that.
Is that the Bathurst 6 hour?
Yeah, is that the production car?
That was being that was being advertised at the tram stop.
Was it?
Yeah, for I think it's on Stan Sports or something.
I've got Stan Sport to watch IndyCar.
Oh, then you're fine.
Mate, Scott McLaughlin was a little bit disappointing this weekend. He was all right, but he hit the wall and spun around. A bit rookie from him, trying to pass Tatiana. So I haven't heard this about Shane Van Gisbergen and COVID. So, he's probably got enough time to get over it before the next round. So it probably won't stop his championship hunt at all.
You can do a quick rapid test these days.
Yeah.
I only started taking the rapid test, Dave, about a month ago.
I haven't done a rapid test. So
some of them are very, very quick. And I think for most
some
places,
are rapid.
Some are rapid, and then some are not quite rapid. Some are couple of minutes, and then some. Why waste your time?
Well, yeah, I have heard mixed results from the rapid tests as well. I've heard you can cheat the system a bit with a negative rapid test.
I've got some screenshots if anyone needs. I think I have a photo.
I think we deal with some of those screenshot ones at work with people. Oh no, I've got it again. Yeah, I've heard a few people like that, Lee, where the rapids are negative and
you can't see
it. Yes, Jake. I think that's that was one good thing actually watching the racing live at the track. Didn't have to hear Scaife gushing over Shane Van Gisbergen the whole way through, because I think the trackside commentary was Aaron Noonan and the one with the big forehead. What's his name? Chad Nalon, I think. Anyway, someone will probably correct the sads with me because I like Chad Nalon. I saw Scaife and gave him a wave and said hi to Larkham over the weekend as well. So, yeah, I didn't get into any big, deep meaningfuls with them or anything, but yeah, I did see them walking around the paddock. Saw a lot of Rhiannon walking around the paddock as well. So, no, he's Chad Nalon. He's got a big forehead. The receding hairline, but because he's got,
it's more of a 5 head.
It doesn't look like his hairline's receding. It just looks like his hair starts a long way back. It's hard to describe. Anyway, I'm not really knocking him. I'm just saying big forehead. So back on to
back to the F1. I have another question, Dave. Of my book of thoughts. I was thinking, are they going to do any more fancy dress pit crews like they used to have in 05? They had the Star Wars pit crew. What's happened with those?
I'm trying to think, because Red Bull did their special Honda livery thank you one last year, which I think they had special team gear for that, I think. But Mercedes did that big Germany one the other year, and they had the worst. They had Netflix was doing the Drives to Survive following that weekend. They did the special livery and everything, and they went cactus. From what they actually asked Netflix to refilm them at another point during the season, because it was like the weekend went that bad. So then people are usually a bit reluctant to do things like that because they reckon it's bad luck.
Oh, okay.
Which, as I say, a special livery has never won Bathurst. So there you go. Into the Republic of WA.
Will Emperor Mark let SVG in? I've heard from family members that Emperor Mark is doing a great job keeping everyone out.
Didn't they open the gates and then all of a sudden have COVID, like smashing them for a bit? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And we dealt with this all of like the last 2 years. Right?
Yeah, Gaz is right. The pit crew specials were they dressed up as stormtroopers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They did a Star Wars one and a Superman one as well, I think. Or was that just
was that McLaren?
No, it was Red Bull as well.
Does Red Bull just all the wacky?
What's his name? I can't. What's his bloody name that runs the team? It's amazing.
Mr. Ginger Spice.
Yeah, when you got the pressure of a live stream where you can't remember people's names. Yeah, Mr. Ginger Spice. He wore the cape and dove into the pool naked, other than the cape.
No, that's an image I don't need, that I can't get out of my head now.
Yes, Christian Horner.
Nah, Mr. Ginger Spice is his new name.
That'll do.
Yeah,
He hasn't done bad for himself though. When you think like, yeah,
He's done very well for himself.
he's yeah, where he came from and everything, and he's a very rich man now, and yeah, he's definitely batting above his average on that one.
I was about to say batting well out of his league, Dave.
So, but actually, it's funny. You go through the like the supercars paddock and that, and yeah, there's quite a few of the drivers there are yeah, they think they're Don Bradman. I didn't see Roland Dane at Melbourne, but I also didn't go really much down that end of pit lane. So I can't say. I did see a lot of Dave Couchy walking around next door in the pits, and yeah, that was probably the most high-profile Triple Eight guy that I saw in person.
Yeah, Red Bull's F1 media must be a very clever bunch of people.
Oh, they're brilliant with what they do. So they Mercedes a surprise packet of the weekend. I would have more McLaren. I fully expect Mercedes is still in that kind of no man's land behind Red Bull and Ferrari, but McLaren were actually kind of knocking on the door a bit. He used to race. Yes, he did. Ron? Yeah, he was in F3000 around that kind of time. Got to keep the riffraff out. Who are we keeping out? Share experience at MSR, Dave. Yeah, well, I didn't do too much. I did get to sit in there with the earphones on during one of the races. Got to hear all of the engineer talk in that. As I said, I was very surprised how little they kind of talk to each other. You do hear a little bit of chat on the warm-up lap, and then obviously the 3-2-1 as they're coming up towards the line, and then it went very quiet. I would have expected, maybe a little bit of talking towards the first corner. I suppose you're used to, the spotters and that with the IndyCar calls, thinking a little bit of that kind of stuff. But then, yeah, it was pretty much all the way through the race. They just kind of said, each lap, like doing a good job, you're in position, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that was about it. And then when the safety car got called and, got them told when to pit and stuff. And I didn't actually meet the drivers, but I did say hi to both of them in passing. I didn't know how much to get involved and stuff. And they were very busy, they get out of the cars, go to their debrief. I didn't want to get in the way too much. There was a few pit tours that came through with people that actually give the team money. I did get to meet a few of the higher ups at Truck Assist while they were getting a pit tour, and I got introduced to them. But I kind of sat back and was more observing, I suppose, what was going on rather than trying to annoy people who were actually there working, because it's not like they have a cast of thousands there. And Todd Hazelwood, especially when I got there on Friday, was just after he smacked the wall in qualifying as well. So they had a fair bit of repairing to do on Friday to get their car ready for the race. That was one other thing that I did notice over the weekend, is kind of how smashed up the cars are I didn't see them on Sunday, but Saturday afternoon, they were looking very secondhand after 3 races. So, and they just kind of, get the old hammer out and bash them a bit into submission and that. And you see them on TV and they look fine. But, they're not, you definitely wouldn't accept it from a panel beater if it was your own car at home. So, Macaulay Jones, he was very impressive in that first race, and then they kind of reverted back to the norm. But Gary Jacobson really had a on weekend. He, 3 top 10s, as I said. better than what the Brad Jones Racing team did altogether. So, if anyone's got any other questions, just shoot them through. So,
I have a question, Dave.
okay.
Albon took a pit stop essentially at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Did he forget?
I think those the hard tyres were just working for them. So I think they were just praying that something happened at the end where they could get a free pit stop. So, but I think they'd basically, accepted that they were going to finish 19th and 20th this weekend.
That's what it sounded like. They were...
Yeah, with Latifi coming last because he can't stop crashing into people or walls or whatever. And then, what was it, 10th in the end?
Yeah, he lost they worked it out.
Yeah, Lewis might call it pointless, but Albon was pretty pumped he got his 1 point. So, which, could make a difference towards the end of the season. I'm trying to think who they're in the battle with at the moment because everyone else has got points. How good is Couchy at gardening? One person seems to have made a big difference to that team. So obviously they've had pretty good people there. I don't think they've had too many other hires other than Couch coming in. But he's definitely making a big difference. But it was very hard to pick where they were going to be at the start of the year because, kind of Reynolds is the kind of person if the car's all right and his head's in the right space, he's dangerous. But if the car's a bit out of the window and he goes off and, his mind goes elsewhere, look what happened the last couple of years. So I think they'll, a bit like what Erebus did the other year, they'll just keep going from strength to strength and, probably take a few wins towards the end of the year. I would love to do one of those drive days at Norwell, Jake. It's a bit far to travel. I'll probably stick to trying to get in another one of those fast track ones in Melbourne at some point.
Boovy makes a good point. Red Bull power units. Do they not have working ones at all?
Seem to have some issues.
Because I believe that someone just pulled over and turned it off before. Pulled it over nice and gently to the side of the road and waited for the RACV to come along and pick him up.
Again. So, yeah.
It seems like the most politest way to pull out of a race. It seems very gentlemanly.
Yeah, it was. It looked a bit more, like watching F1 in the mid-90s.
Yeah, it was fire at the end because I remember him pointing out.
I'll pull over.
Yeah,
he was trying to get his Uber out early. I heard some good stories of people trying to get Ubers out of there on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Actually, even Friday. Yeah, I gave someone a lift home on Friday after they saw what the surge pricing was on the Uber. And
how bad was pricing?
This person lives about 20 minutes further away from the city than me, and he was quoted $350.
What?
Yeah. So like a 55-minute journey.
So what you're telling me is I should have come down and made a free trip.
Well, what I was thinking, I'm like, I really should have, planned it and taken a few people home. Or taken a few people in and a few people home.
$30 each, Dave.
Yeah, and I could have then bought a hat. So
I could have just waited out the front and printed out a cheap Uber thing. And just said I take cash only.
Just pick up a random person.
I'll just say
Yeah.
my FPOS was down. I only take cash.
Well, I know a few people who caught taxis as well because obviously the taxis don't have the surge pricing on them. But
Yeah.
the wait at the taxi rank was, this was Friday afternoon and they waited 45 minutes and they walked out before the F1 practice had finished. So, yeah.
We do
both
look trustworthy. We both drive sensible vehicles, so we look like proper Uber drivers.
Yeah. Graham has a good question here. And yes, it will hold McLaren back, but it will also hold Mercedes back, which I think is a little bit fair because all the other teams were hamstrung in the previous generation because Mercedes had that inbuilt engine, performance benefit or whatever for 8 years or whatever we had, where the other guys essentially couldn't catch up. So, yeah, it is a bit on that side of things. It's a little bit suck eggs that Mercedes can't just throw money at it to fix their car at the moment. But yes, and it also does suck for someone like McLaren. But it's also, I mean, if you could go and do whatever you wanted, and that Red Bull and Ferrari would have caught up, a lot easier previously. So I think it's just what we have to put up with nowadays, that you can't just throw money and go and build B-spec cars and all things like that. So.
Another question, Dave. I noticed the race control incidents. So a lot of the crashes had them. Someone got a warning for weaving on the straight.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was. I didn't make a note of the driver, but they got in trouble for weaving up and down the.
I'm trying to. Who was that? Because I was a little bit. It didn't seem that bad. Was it Ocon?
It might have.
I'm trying to remember who it was. It was.
I just wrote.
Stroll. Was it Stroll that weaved?
He's Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
He's got daddy money.
Yeah,
He'll be fine.
Yeah, he's up to 7 points or something on his license as well now, which is it's the way he's racking them up at the moment.
How many points do you get for fishtailing it up the Albert Park Straight?
I'm not sure. I think 2 or something. So he got for that one. But
and it wasn't to warm up the tyres or anything, was it?
No, it was to block someone. But I didn't think it was. Yeah, it seemed a bit like, we've let Stroll get away with stuff for so long now. Oh shoot, we better do something about it. And then kind of ganged up on him this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't understand why you're losing points for just.
They're not allowed to make 2 moves. So if they go to the inside of the track to block someone, they have to essentially stay to the inside
and keep that line.
They can't move back across. But I think the problem was that you can kind of move back across, but you have to leave a car width for someone to go through. And I think the problem was that when he moved back across, it wasn't a full car width or whatever. But we've seen.
Yeah, he weaved multiple. Yeah.
We've seen people do it in the past and get away with it. So Hamilton and Max have both done it, like previously. I think I'm pretty sure Vettel's done it in the past as well. Most of them have done it. But,
Stroll is on 8 points now. Got 3 on the weekend. How many? How many points? Is it 12?
12 before you get to sit out a race.
Whoa. He's going to have to be a good boy next race.
Who do they get to replace him? Hulkenberg back again.
Where is Hulkenberg?
He's just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the next COVID sufferer.
Is he like that internet meme of just sitting on the swing waiting for a young boy racer to get kicked out?
Just waiting for a mate.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for Stroll to be an idiot. It's 12 for a race, man.
Yeah. So
So what's the race up?
Grosjean rules.
Oh, Grosjean. There's my other favourite idiot F1 driver.
He's off doing IndyCar at the moment, going okay.
You reckon they'll call him up? You'll get a call on the red bat phone. We need a new idiot at the F1.
Nah, I think he's I think he's pretty happy doing his IndyCar stuff at the moment. Toto's recently been hung a lot of shit on Massey. It's just outrageous. I don't like the way that they treated Massey. It's quite, to me, it's quite obvious that he was overworked in that role. There was too much going on for one person, and also imagine you got a high pressure job like that, and you've got Toto and Christian Horner bloody screaming at you down the radio, and whoever else going at the same time while you're trying to make decisions. Whether there was a little bit of Netflix kind of thought in there to have a green flag finish for the season and that. But the thing is, all the Hamilton fans are unhappy because it didn't finish under safety car, because then Hamilton would have won. And then if it had gone the other way, all the Max fans would have been pissed off because it didn't, it finished under safety car and he didn't get a chance to have a crack at him. So he was in a lose-lose situation. And I don't think he should have lost his job over it, but yeah, that's just my opinion. So, go on about that one for a long time. But they have replaced it with two different people and a crew of people back at base. So, what did Alonso say about the Massey thing? I think Alonso was quite happy that Hamilton didn't win the championship. Yeah, and that's the thing, Chopsticks. Without, I'm not a Hamilton fan, but I think Max did a better job throughout the whole season. So he was a bit unlucky with a few things, or else he would have wrapped it up quite early. About Alonso retiring. Alonso could go on for a long time. I think Alpine's really backed himself into a wall there, because they've got quite a few, they've got Piastri obviously at the top of the queue, but they've got Lundgaard and Guan Yu Zhou. I think there's someone else at the top of their thing as well. And then they've signed two kind of drivers long term. And Ocon, is he good enough for a 5-year deal from someone like that? What do you reckon, Matt? Would you sign Ocon to a 5-year deal?
No.
It's not like he should really be beating Alonso.
There seems to be a lot of F1 drivers near the bottom that I struggle to wonder why they're there.
Well, it's also money, or trying to find someone better.
Yeah.
Hopefully the money thing, with the cost cap and that, it starts to even out a bit.
I mean, I think it's good that we have some wacky villains at the bottom of the grid.
Yeah, well, you've always got to have people you don't like.
Graham, you're a magnificent man.
It did. It bought me half a lunch last week, so that was good.
Next week, Dave, I expect a hat.
But they are actually cheaper if you buy them online.
What about? Did you go to the F1 shop on Elizabeth Street?
No,
the one down the.
I've been there many years ago. I got a Damon Hill T-shirt from there.
I think I went with you when we bought a Mark Webber top.
That wasn't me. I haven't got a Webber top, so that wasn't.
Oh no, I bought one, and I don't think it fits me anymore.
Oh, I thank you, Chopsticks.
Thank you, Chopsticks. Dave, you're a little bit closer to getting a hat.
Yeah. And I think Lawson might be in a car before Piastri. My fear is that Piastri is going to miss the boat, like Valsecchi did, and Nick DeVries. There's a few that probably should have had seats but missed out. And I mean, someone like Van Dorn as well, wrong place, wrong time. I think he got 2 years. But yeah, it wasn't a very good 2 years. But yeah, I can see Lawson in that second AlphaTauri seat next year, the way he's going. And yeah, Piastri's still questionable about where he fits in. So unless Hamilton retires and then they sign Piastri, it's not a bad idea, is it?
I have another question, Dave.
Okay.
My big book of notes. What happened to Verstappen's left front tyre? There was an issue.
Is that where it locked up?
It locked up or something, and it screwed up the front tyre. Like, it got ripped to bits. And there was like radio chatter, I think, of him complaining that the
I think
front
that was
left.
just the graining. On
Okay.
That. But the tyre kind of blisters. So essentially, like how your skin blisters when it gets, like the friction and being too hot.
I am white, Dave. I don't know if you remember. I'm used to burning.
Oh yeah, well I wasn't. It was more like where you're doing something you don't know much about, manual labour.
What? Manual what? Dave, look at these hands. They've never touched any. These are delicate IT fingers. They don't know what hard work is.
Like tonight, which surprisingly, I actually dug a big ditch tonight. So believe it or not,
I touched the keyboard.
I did. My lower back is feeling it, but yeah, I'm going to be in a lot of pain tomorrow. But my hands survived it, so that's the main thing. But yeah.
Well, how many retirees do you think there'll be? Chopsticks? There could be a few.
It could really go either way. Matt lives in Hipsterville. He lives in a inner Melbourne suburb.
The land of single origin coffee and single speed bicycles.
So at the end of the year, we've potentially Vettel is probably going to be out the door. If Hamilton could be, he could call it at the end of the year. Alonso probably. I think Bottas is on a 2-year at Alpha Chopsticks. Ricardo, that's a hard one there because who does McLaren put in there? Depending on, if Alonso goes, Alpine will take Piastri, then, McLaren kind of haven't got someone to go there. I'd probably say Tsunoda will be retiring at the end of the year. So Ricardo wants to come to supercars. It'd be interesting if he does something like that, or whether he goes and tries to play NASCAR or something like that. When
he'd want to do NASCAR for a bit, wouldn't he? He seemed to enjoy his lap. Yeah,
he loves America, and he has a house in LA, I think it is, that he actually spends a lot of time in.
And then he got one in Texas as well. He seems to love Texas a lot.
Yeah, I think it might actually be LA, because LA is not too bad to fly in and out of as well. I think it is for is it LA for the Europe? It'd be the other side would be better for the
Europe, but the other side, New York.
Yeah,
New York.
No, I'm pretty sure he's got a house in LA.
Probably.
So
all of them would, wouldn't they?
No, because most of them have their house in Monaco, and then probably
because they like the area, Dave. No tax reason.
So they'd probably area. They'd have residence somewhere near, like their team's factory and things like that.
Oh, they'd have a primary residence in Monaco, for purposes, and then they'd have.
They spend 181 days a year there.
Just enough. Just enough.
It's convenient that it's exactly 181. They
Yeah,
do. Yeah.
and
they,
not a day more, and not a day less.
They do actually calculate it too. And I have heard of stories of people, things happening and then people having to rush back at the end of the year to top up a couple of extra days. So
They like the weather. It's good that that time of year.
well
You got
it
to go back.
is the weather there is actually pretty good. So
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Advantageous for training and that. But if you had your choice, you'd be somewhere else for that if it wasn't just for the tax.
Also, I think the airport's called LAX, isn't it?
That sounds about right.
That sounds
I only know the American stuff from watching
American shows.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I know all my Seinfeld, Simpsons, Sunny in Philadelphia, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yep.
This
Brooklyn's
is how
on
I
the other
learned
side.
everything about America. What was the Marky Mark show? Entourage.
Entourage. Oh, I remember watching all that.
That's proper America, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, LAX.
Canadians are trailer park boys and Letterkenny.
Yeah, essentially. And they don't have... I was thinking GTA. Yes, I think the airport in GTA is... it's close enough.
I'm just choking on some drink here. So I think we've covered everything except for hashtag 44 and his little meltdown on the radio.
He had a meltdown? I missed that.
The complaining that the team put him in a really difficult position. And,
what, that he had to drive and get paid millions of dollars? I hate to be in that position.
I think that is the position where his teammate beat him. So he had one of those meltdowns. How could this happen?
I'm the great hashtag 44. This shouldn't happen to me.
Okay. Hamilton was a little bit unlucky with when the safety car was called and that, but Russell was kind of right behind him prior to that, and then it was just luck of it was one of those things where it was a bit of luck of the draw, and I think if they'd let them race, that Russell could have kept him there. So I think it was the right call for them not to challenge each other or stay off the curbs. So when you hear that, I think that's code for don't crash into each other.
Wasn't that what Ricardo got? They told him not to pressure Norris?
Yeah. And they, rather than saying like, multi-21, now they have, other code words, or each team has their own kind of code for it. And
new code words for each season.
I think Mercedes one is stay off the curbs. Okay. I think thing with McLaren was that they were getting a lot of points this weekend, where I'm not sure if they really think that they're going to get lots of points everywhere. So it wasn't worth risking and challenging each other. Yeah.
Because both McLaren and Mercedes would have done quite well in constructors' points.
Yeah, well, Mercedes are second in the constructors at the moment. So...
Yep.
So is that you really like them, Scotty, or is that you don't like them?
I must say, I like Russell so much. I think he just looks like a better face for F1 than Hamilton. He just looks. he's like Ricardo. He just looks so happy to be there.
Matthew, that's racist. If you say anything against Hamilton, racist.
I like Ricardo and Russell, because they both look like each week that they're racing is just like they shouldn't be there, and like someone's told them this is your. He does look a bit like a serial killer. But
I think he looks like he could be the next Bond or something.
Yeah,
like not a Bond villain. He could be like he looks, like kind of a movie star. Or something. They do those.
He looks proper British.
Yeah, he drinks his tea like this.
Yeah, it's like oh yes.
Yeah.
And then he's got the Bond villain at the back of the grid where he belongs. Yeah, it's perfect.
King Latifah.
Yeah. And then you've got his idiot henchman, Stroll, at the back. Who just does his who does his bidding.
Detective. So I think. Have you got any more questions?
I've gone through my notes. Good to see. That the other point they said that what's his name who won with the first Grand Slam for about 12 years, fastest lap, pole and win.
Wouldn't have been that long. I wouldn't have thought because Vettel had a heap of them in like the Red Bull days.
Oh, okay.
What do they call them? The Chelian or whatever. There's my.
Oh, the KO people called it the Grand Slam.
Oh, okay.
Of the fastest lap, pole and fastest lap, pole and
fastest lap, led every lap, and the win, obviously, I'm pretty sure Vettel did that a few times in the Red Bull days. So
okay.
Have we talked about Gunther's birthday? No, we haven't. Was it his birthday over the weekend? I know it was Chas Mosterd's. And it's looking good at the moment for Ferrari. They've had a really strong start, and I think the other two Red Bull will definitely fight back. But I think Ferrari has got a good head start at the moment.
Is it too late to jump on the Ferrari bandwagon, Dave?
I wore my Ferrari t-shirt the other week, so I'm fully on the Ferrari bandwagon. Choo-choo! Will Angela Cullen require? Is it so? That's her name. I think.
Is that the physio?
Yeah, I don't know what that relationship is there. It's a strange one, but to me as well,
Dave, you wouldn't get it.
I mean, he's cruising around on a scooter. She's carrying all his gear and running along behind him. Like, I mean, yeah, he is getting $50 million a year or whatever it is, but like, fuck me, give her a hand, would you? Like,
Dave, for $50 million, you don't carry your own stuff.
Oh, who will tie Hamilton's hair back? Hey, I heard something about they're not allowed to the ear piercings and stuff, and Hamilton said, "Oh, no, I'm not taking them out." What was all that about? Apparently, you're not allowed piercing something, the safety thing or whatever. So it'll be when you have accidents and that, and pulling helmets off and things like that. But, yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
Did anyone else hear about that? About Justine being everywhere, SVG goes. Yeah. There seems to be that going on. I think that was probably more that, she's got her fingers in the rallying pie as well. So, yeah.
I have one more question, Dave, actually. I saw while watching the YouTubes. I can't remember who it was, but essentially there's a conspiracy that there's a new rule in F1 that your numbers have to be very visible and have like a fluorescent line around them. And Mercedes have started doing it, and Ferrari just did it last race. And supposedly the conspiracy is they're waiting for a race later down the track to pull out this obscure rule to screw over another team.
Okay.
I've seen like pictures of the numbering system have like a fluoro outline of it, and some of the not all the teams are following it. It's like one of these weird new rules.
I haven't heard about that one yet.
It's because I spend too much time on the internet, Dave.
Looking up conspiracy videos.
Yeah, it's chopsticks. It's in the rules.
Yeah.
The driver number should be so. Supposedly, only Mercedes and Ferrari are doing it.
Define visible though.
Like it's got like a fluoro outline, so you can see it like quite easily. I don't know if it's in the dark or something.
Yeah, but like we were stood trackside.
Oh, it's been a rule for ages.
It hasn't been decades. It come in more recently with the, especially with the halo, because you can't see the driver's helmets and you've got no idea. Because all the helmets aimed now, they've all got Red Bull logos on them or whatever. Yeah, it was good in the 90s. You could fully see their shoulders, and safety wasn't a thing.
OHS be damned.
They all had different looking helmets, whereas now they all, it's like they all go to the same helmet designer. But standing trackside, we were general admission in that, so we were only at like fence height watching them, but you could read the numbers. It wasn't an issue. The big issue is actually knowing which drivers had which number. So Dan's number 3, #44. So you could work it out. Someone as well said about the Graham, their metal heats up. So if there is a fire or whatever. What I'd argue with that one though would be more with like the chains and stuff that he wears, whereas I would have thought ear piercings would be pretty safe, like within the helmet, because the helmets are surprisingly safe these days. Jess is effing hot. Jess Yates or Jess Dane? Yeah. Nose ring is worth 0.2 of a second. It'll take him weeks to take them out. There's a lot of them as well there. Yeah, the numbers, I found all of the numbers visible on the cars. So I suppose then it just comes on to the definition of what's visible.
Well, Dave, if this turns out to be right, I'm going to look like a genius.
Yeah. Breaking news.
And if it doesn't, I'll look like an idiot like I always do. So no big loss. You
deny it ever happened. Because it's not like, people can do it. As if anyone's going to go back and review this,
no one's going to watch this again.
You were wrong when you told me that. So...
I mean, Dave, you could start every live chat with Matt, you were wrong. And I'll be like, yeah, probably was. Fair call. So
I think we've covered any. If anyone has got any other quick questions. But yeah, I think we've covered everything. We've been on for an hour. So
all right.
A strict 1 hour policy. So
strict 1 hour, 3-minute policy.
Yeah, that's a joke, by the way. we aim for an hour. It might go a bit longer. NASCAR Xfinity fight. I don't know anything about that. I'm definitely not up there with
at fight.
Yeah, I'm not up there with the NASCAR news at the moment. So,
wait, there was a fight at NASCAR.
Those guys love a good punch on.
Oh, that's what you need. That's what I miss, Dave.
What's that? Punch ons?
Yeah. Well, I remember looking up videos of old Bathurst things where they had punch ons when 2 drivers would run in and they just jump out of the car and just punch on.
Yeah. Now they all give each other cuddles and stuff for crashing into each other.
Nah, can't have that though.
Yeah, it's a bit.
I want to see people smashing helmets.
next video, Graham, will probably be next Tuesday, and then we'll probably do this Thursday night next week. Back to Thursday nights. This is just
Wait,
a special.
I'll just check my busy schedule. Nah, it looks good. I'm good.
This one's my fault this week because we're going to see my parents for the first time in a long time. Well, we got 4 days off over Easter, so we're going to take advantage of it. And I'm not driving with all the traffic on Friday morning, so we're going to leave after work on Thursday. So
no one thought of that idea either, Dave.
Well, it's funny though. The last few times when we've done that, it's been it's been go after dinner and it's nice and quiet. So
was it Murph versus Ambrose? Yep, I think that's the one.
Yeah,
that's a good fight.
Yeah, well, they didn't even fight, but at least you saw a bit of passion. So
yeah. Something is wrong when there are no fights in NASCAR. Yeah, I think that's right. that is correct, Ron.
We'll have to look for that footage for your chopsticks. Because they do have some good fights. You have a good Easter too, Scotty.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll see if I get a chance to watch the 6-hour race as well. Maybe we can talk about it next week.
Maybe I'll watch the KO Mini and look like I also watched it.
All right. So we'll call that for this week. Thank you for watching, everyone. And we'll see you next week on Thursday night.
See you all.